Hi guys, welcome everyone. My name is Vera and today I'm going to show you how to paint our painting on the right side right here, our mama bear with a couple babies. Now before we start, in this segment of the video, we're only going to do the sketch. So you don't have to have your paints out just yet. All you need right now is a pencil and an eraser. And what we're going to start with is we're going to start with positioning our tree. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm using 16 by 12 inch canvas, but you're welcome to use absolutely any size canvas. I'm not going to be going by 1 inch here, 1 inch there. I'm going to be going mostly by proportions. So again, you can apply the same to any size canvas and it will work just fine. So the very first thing that I want to position here is our tree trunk. And before I do that, I actually want to see where the middle of my canvas is. So right up on top here, I'm going to add a little mark indicating that that's the middle of my canvas. As you can see, just a little mark. This is for me, for my brain personally, to know that that's the middle, and I'm going to do the same on the bottom. I'm going to identify where the middle is, approximately. Again, you don't have to measure it with a ruler, unless you want to, in which case that's fine. And now I'm going to start by putting one straight line from a little bit to the left. If this is my middle, I'm going to start somewhere here, I would say. And it's going to go towards a little bit to the right of my middle. So if this is my middle, it's going to go until here. So I'm just going to start by putting that line. And here, guys, oh, actually maybe even a little bit further to the right. If you guys have a nice long ruler, you're welcome to use it. I actually may have a nice long ruler somewhere here. So let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. It's not super long, but I think it will do. So if you have that, welcome to use it. If not, that's also all right. You don't have to, so just start by approximately making that line. All right, that's line number one. That's gonna be the left side of my tree trunk. And now I'm gonna do the right side of my tree trunk. So basically this space here, I'm gonna divide almost in half. So my tree trunk is gonna be just a little bit less than half of whatever is remaining here. Just so you know how big, how wide should your tree trunk be. So if this is the space I have left, middle would be right here, so I'm gonna make it just a touch less than half. I'm just going to put a line that is somewhat parallel to my first line. Doesn't have to be super straight if your tree is not, you know, perfectly straight and has a bit of a curve to it. That's not a problem at all. Ta-da! That's our tree. And of course, you can always make it bigger, you can make it smaller, but it's good to start with something, right? Now we're going to move on to our bears. And I'm going to start with my biggest bear. So I'm going to start with my adult bear. And the first thing I want to do is I want to position the head. And just so you know, approximately the size of the head is going to be approximately the width of your tree. So this is the width of my tree. This is going to be, again, super approximately the size of my head. So I just want to mark up where the size of my head is going to happen. And I would say somewhere here till maybe, okay, let's measure this. This is what it is, right? So approximately like that. This is just for me to know where that goes, right? just a little marking. Now the width of my head, I would say it's about the same as the height of my head, not counting the ears, of course. So if this is, the middle of my head is going to be slightly tilted, right? So the middle of my head is going to be somewhere right here. It's going to be tilted on an angle. So now I'm going to do the width of my head. So if this is the height, just going to measure out the same. Let's say one side is here, one side is somewhere here, right? Okay, that's the widest points of my head. So now I can round it up. So I round it up right here, and I assume that there's a rounding going on here on the other side that we can see behind our tree. And then I'll bring it down here, like that. So do you see it's a bit more narrow here? It's like a strawberry shaped in a way. So if we continue doing the other side, it's going to be, and if we add a thing here, it's going to be a strawberry, which we're not going to add. Joking, joking. So approximately. Now we have the shape of our head, and we're going to add the ears. So I'm going to have 2 ears. They're pretty big. They're pointy, but not, they don't have like this sharp point. They have a very rounded point. So that's my ear number 1. And I'm only partially going to see ear number 2. And again, you can change that as you go. You just have to start somewhere. And this is our starting somewhere. So if later on, once we sketch all our bears, you feel like, that ear is too big or too small, you can always go back and change it. You're not stuck with it. This is just the start, right? Now let's add this later part here. And I would say, do you see how it goes until about halfway through your head? So again, just identify where the middle is vertically. So I would say for me it's about here. And from there, just going to round it up towards the bottom. I'm going to add a nose right here. And I'm going to add eyes. Somewhere here. Again, everything is super approximate, right? So nothing is final. You just need a sketch. All right, good start. Now we're going to move lower, and we're going to have neck, we're going to have arm, and we're going to have legs. So we need to decide how far does our neck go, how far does our arm go, and so on, all those details. So I would say neck starts somewhere right here, right under the ear, and it goes here, and then it goes out. And then it turns into arm, and it goes until maybe right here. So you leave a space from the bottom that's equal or slightly more than your head. So if this is my head, I would leave it just a little bit more than my head from the bottom. So I would say until right here. That's how far it's going to go for me. And how far does our arm stick out? I would say until here. So do you see the middle of your ear? Not the end, not the beginning, but somewhere in the middle of your ear. If you put just imaginary line down from there, that's until where your arm is going to stick out. And again, super approximate. None of this is, precise math. All of this is just guidelines to go by. Ta-da! And then there are going to be nails there. Put a couple nails. And a leg. And we can always fluff up the leg later, because the leg's supposed to be fluffy. And the same as this entire bear, all the fur is supposed to be fluffy, but we'll get to that later. Now we're gonna need to, there's another side of this bear, but we can deal with that later. I can actually erase this too. We don't need it anymore. Now we need to position our tiny bears. And I want to start positioning this little guy right here. So again, I'm going to start with just, putting a couple little dots to guide me. So I'm going to start by positioning where I think the top of the head is going to be. So just, do you see a bit lower? Not right underneath the head. Somewhere right here I think is good for me. And then this bear is going to have a head somewhere here. And then the bear is going to have a back. And the back, it kind of mimics the shape of the hand here. It's a little bit more rounded because it's smaller. And also I'm going to add the bottom part, like the bottom of the leg and body. So let's identify where that's going to be. I would say somewhere here for now. But again, I may change that as we go. And the back is going to be somewhere right here again. It kind of mimics the shape, right? And let me get that closer here so we can see the details better. Oh, here we go. Here's our little bear. All right, let's catch this little dude. So do you see I brought the back here and I didn't bring it all the way up to the head clearly because we're going to add a circular head here. So we know where the top is. We're just going to add like a circle. Somewhere here, I might even go bigger. It seems a little too small. Yeah, that's better. All right, now I want to add ears. The ears, of course, are going to be smaller than the bigger bear ears. This is a baby. And I can erase this part too. We don't need that. I'm going to make transition a little smoother into the back. All right, it looks great. Now there's going to be arm, and there's going to be, so this part, right, but on a baby. It's going to be a little bit, so if here it's right in the middle, this is going to be a little bit to the right, because head is tilted slightly different. So we'll let it somewhere here. Again, it should be about half of the size of the head vertically, approximately. Everything is approximate. Little nose, little eyes. All right, and now we're going to move to our arms. So I'm going to start with this elbow part, which is, do you see just at the beginning of the tree trunk, right? It's on a tree trunk, but not like somewhere in the middle. It's just at the beginning of the tree trunk. I'm going to bring it up here. So here's our little bear holding the tree. And of course, a couple claws. Make sure he's secure there. There's a good grip on that tree. And now we're going to leave a little piece of the tree trunk visible here. And then we're going to add a rounded leg part here. So this one is not going to be that big. You see, just slightly goes over the tree trunk. It doesn't go too far in, just slightly over tree trunk. And then it turns into a paw again. All right, that's our little bear there. And of course, feel free to edit him if you feel like something is out of place, something is out of proportion. That's why we're doing sketch with a pencil, so you can fix all of that. Whatever doesn't feel right, don't go through with that, fix it. Make sure you like it, make sure it feels good before you move to the next step. All right, I have two bears. Bear number 2. And let's move to our next one. So here is our another baby there. Bring my canvas a little. Let's make this image a little lower too. So nice that I can zoom in on it. It's my favorite part. Alrighty. Now let's move to our third bear. Our third bear is going to be a baby bear as well. And it's going to be somewhere right here. So again, I usually start by just, adding a couple dots to know my proportions before I go into a full-on sketching shapes. So I would say let's identify where the top of the head is going to be. And the top of the head, if you look at it and see it, and just put imaginary line, horizontal line across, and see what else it hits, I would say it goes just above the nose. So do you see the mom's nose? I would say it goes just above that. So if you put imaginary line here, we're going to identify that our head is going to be somewhere right here. Let's identify where the bottom is going to be of the bear, but then underneath the bear, there's mama's hand as well. So the bottom of the bear, I would say the bottom leg of the bear is literally where, somewhere right here. So not the elbow of this one, just a little higher than the elbow. So the bottom leg is going to end here. So then it's going to be leg, bum, and I'm just going to sketch it very, very loosely. Let me get closer here too so it doesn't, so do you see I identified where the bottom leg is going to be? And it's just a bit higher than the elbow. And from here, I'm just going to very, very loosely sketch the bum, then the body, and then the head. And this may not be correct proportions, but I'll fix them. This is just, super approximate. Right, and now I want to add mama's hand. So where's the mama's hand going to be? So mama's hand is going to start somewhere from here, and it's going to go lower until I would say the middle of this. Do you see this circular part? Maybe even lower part of the circular part. So somewhere right here. So just a bit lower. So it's going to go like this. And a little bit over this tree. That's our mama's hand. And we can add a couple claws there as well. All right, now we can perfect our baby. So we have a basic shape for the baby, right? So here is going to be, this is our bum. So let's add the leg. The leg is slightly going to go over the tree as well. And it's going to go like this. Approximately. There's going to be a little bit of a belly. And the head is going to end somewhere right here, I would say, because it's a little, it's not full circle, right? It's slightly more like egg shape, where it's a little narrow on the bottom and just more rounded on top. We're going to give our little bear ears as well, because they need ears, those bears. We're gonna add the rounded part, nose, eyes, and the little arm here. A couple of claws as well. All right, so we started with something, right? And now let's look at our bear and see what needs to be modified. In my case, the head is a little too small, so I'm gonna definitely make the head a bit bigger and more like towards, more like rounded, because the height-wise, it's not a bad size. It's pretty good. It's just not rounded enough. It needs to be a bit bigger. I think like that would be much, much better. Oh yeah, I like that more. And ears again. And again, nose part. And the eyes. Yeah, I think this is a better size of the head. The size of the arm. I'm still okay with the size of the arm overall. So just take a look at it and see what needs to be edited. Some areas you might want to make a little bigger, some areas you might want to make a little smaller, and all that is good. There are no, nothing wrong with editing. All right, let's zoom out on our image again to have a full view. Here it is. And here it is. And what else do I need to do? I kind of want to make maybe the head here a little bit smaller. Oh yeah, I like that. So again, just a little bit small editing here and there. And then we'll finish up with the other side of Mama's body. So right here, I'm just going to add not straight, but slightly curved towards the outside line. All right, and here's our sketch. I'm quite happy with this, guys. I don't think I want to be changing anything else. I like everything that we have going on here. So take a good look at yours, see if you like it, and if you don't, then change things. If you do, that's great, then you don't need to change anything. And whenever you're happy with it, you can end this segment of the video and you can move to the next one, and that's when you're gonna need all the paint and brushes, and I'll see you guys then.